Buongiorno. I hope you're well. I wanted to do a video today, more than ever, to go through all of our out of possession principles that we've been practicing over the last 3 weeks. So, week one was all about pressing. Week two was all about setting the trap and showing them into the wide areas for us to step into. And then this week we've been thinking about how we predict the next pass and how we step in and intercept across the whole of the pitch. I'm going to show some clips around the Leamington game that we played last weekend. There's loads of improvement in this. So if I think about some of the games last season that we played, dominated in and out of possession, but we lost. What I would say about this game is I felt that we gave too much respect to the opposition around what we did when we had the ball. We were really wasteful. And then when we hadn't got the ball, I felt that we were really vulnerable at times, and some of these clips will really show you how vulnerable we were at some point. So let's not forget our core principles when we're out of possession. And without further ado, I'll start the video. As always, the caveat here is this is about your improvement. Apologies if you take offence to some of these clips. That's not the intention. The intention here is to challenge, to question. I see things differently. You might see things differently. Your parents might see things differently. There's no right or wrong in football. This is all about opinions. And as part of your coach, all I want you to do is to think about loads of different things, and then you make your decisions based on what you believe is right or wrong in those moments in time. So without further ado, let's kick off. Oh, let's turn the sound off because it is loud. So one of the core principles that we talked about in week two was if we set traps and move into the wide areas, how can we pounce? Now, the really important thing around pouncing is starting behind and then stepping in front. In this picture here, we went too early, and therefore the defender from this team here was able to play the ball over the top to the defender. So if I replay this back in totality. Start behind. If the fullbacks start behind, so we're in a really good position here, Oliver, in this one. And then we step in front too early. The ball goes over us, and we're unable to step in front. And then, thankfully, the ball goes out of play. But we should be narrower here as well. So if you look at how our defenders are set up, and this is quite a consistent theme throughout this game, is the distances between our centre backs. If I look at our centre backs here, there's probably 2 or 3 passing channels that are free between these two centre backs at the moment. When the ball's over here, Max, you need to be further over, and the same with Beardsy. Recognise that danger straight away. So thankfully it goes over to Mickey. But look at that distance to recover from and covering for Jonesy here. That's a really big opportunity for us to develop on. And then the same here. So I'll replay this back in a moment, Oliver. I'd be absolutely loving this winger here, because he's doing exactly what we would ask our wingers to do, and that's to be non-visible. Now, if your body shape is slightly different here, i.e. the other way around, and you're checking your shoulder the other way, but you're facing your marker here, you'll be able to react very differently to that danger. And then the other bit here is, Max, if you look at this here, there's no danger coming from this right-hand side, their right-hand side, our left. And therefore, if this player breaks through the 2 central midfielders, we've got a 3v2 here. So how can you then go and cover? Because I would expect Jonesy to go and press in here, which means that you would need to drop in. Really dangerous position that we find ourselves in very quickly. So going from no pressure whatsoever here, to them being under immense pressure in that moment. Now, that one of the big points here is around our out of possession principles is who is the closest to the ball. They are the ones that press, okay? And then the other players around them, they go and cover and they provide the balance as well. So if I look at who's closest to the ball here, we've got one here, we've got two here, we've got three here, okay? Now, I wouldn't necessarily expect my my centre back to go and press in this wide area, but I would expect my right midfielder or my right back to go and press and apply pressure. I wouldn't expect Hughesy to be pressing here, but that's what happens. That's what happens in this picture, is that Hughesy goes and presses because nobody else is pressing. And then the press is applied by our right central midfielder in the right back position. So have a think about who should have been applying that pressure. But one of our principles is closest to the ball applies the pressure, and we're lucky here. Look how wasteful we are without the ball, that we managed to get it out here as well. So. And then we go and apply a bit of pressure. Okay, great starting position here. So that's the picture that we've been after, around pouncing, showing out wide, and then pouncing into those wide areas. In this picture, we have two players now on their left-hand side. Now, like us, they attacked on the left, but we didn't recognise this. And actually, it cost us 2 goals in the last 10 minutes of the game as well. So, if you look at these two players here, and Max, your positioning, so you go further over when we've got a 1v1 over there, which would have been the right thing to do if the ball had travelled over there. Now, all of a sudden, if you look at our shape here, our defensive structure is all over the place. We've got 2 players marking 1, and we've got 2 players marking 2 over here. I'd expect Max to be a little bit further over and providing that press into this play, because it looks like he's just beaten our 2 central midfielders. Now, in this pause point, we are in danger, okay? Who's covering? So Jones is now having to apply the pressure because, Max, you haven't applied it. And actually, there's no covering that you can provide here. Against better opposition, this player uses the outside of the foot to play behind Jonesy, and 47 goes on and scores. As it happens, the ball goes out wide and into an offside position. So I think it's really important that we just recognise in these pictures who should be pressing, who should be covering and dropping into the space. Jonesy, I don't blame you for pressing there in any way, shape or form. It was absolutely the right thing for you to do. Now, Max, I think you go wandering here. So if you just look at your position, keep checking your surroundings would be my coaching tip here. Check your surroundings, because you step in here, okay? And actually, if you now look at the gaps again between the centre backs, you're very much in what I would call a left back, probably a left back position, in a narrow low block. Ball goes over your head. Jonesy has to make a last ditch effort to win that ball back, and because you're wondering, there's no cover. In my opinion, you should have been playing this ball. You should have been reading where this ball went, and then Jonesy provides the cover. Now, look how this game could change if that's a better first touch from this player. Just by one ball over the top, and this worries me because we've got Old Wolves. We know that they play the long ball over the top, and I think this could really catch us out this week if we don't recognise those pictures in that particular moment. Okay, don't know if that's the end of this one or not. I think it is. Oh no, it's not. Again, have a look at this next phase. So I'd say we're looking good in this picture. I can't see what's happening back here, but we're going pretty much man for man. They've got the midfield overload, which we know we address quite quickly after. Now, this is the danger. Are we aware of our surroundings here? So who's going to provide the cover if Jonesy goes and wins a header? Okay. Can we cover this better, Max? and even in this picture, we're still flat. So Oliver, could you drop off? Max, could you drop off as well? This is what really worries me when we play against the long ball guys. Um, Luckily, goes over, bounces back in front of Jonesy, and then we're able to regain possession against better opposition. That goes on and potentially goes on, and opposition go on and score. And again, I know this was offside, but if you look at body position again, Oliver, so in that moment, I'd be wanting you chest looking at the player that you're attacking and your head turning opposed to the other way around. So not once do you check to see where that defender is. Defenders now, if that ball's played at this point, he goes on and scores. Um, as it happens, the ball's played and delayed, but you can't see him. So chest looking at the player. If you chest looking at the player and then turn your head to check where the ball is, that would be my play here. So you could either make an interception to win the ball back, or you can make a better job of using your arms maybe to block off that run from the defender. Okay, I think this is still first half, isn't it? Yeah. So Harrison loses the ball. Cutler tries and wins it. Harrison tries to win it again. We're forcing them into the wide areas. And then if you look at your body position again, Oliver, um, you're running towards the goal and your chest isn't showing the player into where we want it. If anything, you're showing him on the inside. Now, because of this, because Max, I think that's Max, or is it Hughesy? Because Hughesy's showing out into the wide areas, actually that ball does come out here, but you're now in the wrong position and totally out of the game, out of play. You do work back and you do win the ball back, so well done. But if you just watch that play out again, turn your body, look at the defender, look at the defender, look at the defender. Who's applying pressure? Okay, so if you're looking at the defender, you then know what passing channel to block. So, like this week's objective, you can step in, but also check your shoulders to make sure that that ball can't go through any gaps. As it happens, we don't apply pressure, and the ball goes out to the wide player. I know you win it in the end, but we should have won it higher up the pitch and then maybe have worked the switch. Okay, so second half now. Sorry, first half still. Um, Sorry, what was that? Look at your distances now between the two centre backs. I think this is really, really important that we recognise this when we're out of possession. So look at the distances between the two. Are we comfortable with that? We know that now these guys want to attack down the left. Are we ready for the long ball and covering Jonesy? Max would be my bit here. So, one thing, if you just watch you here, okay, watch Max here. He sort of gets drawn into this central space instead of thinking what could happen. So they're in possession. We're just walking into the central space. We're not thinking, shall I narrow the gap? If we put swimming lanes up here, let's just do that. Actually, let's put some swimming lanes up in this picture here, just so we can see where Max is standing, and are we happy? So that's the wide area. This is the wide area here. Then if that's the half space, there's the other half space. I know this looks narrow, that half space. But so we've got the wide channel, we've got the half space, we've got the central half space and the wide channel. If we look at where Max is standing, he's actually in the wide zone. So when this play then when we continue to play, we're really exposed then. Okay, so we're really exposed because that theoretically is a max winner, but with the wrong side of it. And then we're lucky again. Max, could you cover this space quicker? Could you cover this space quicker? Could you cover this space quicker? Okay, I know we win the ball back, but I think I think we just need to be sharper on. If we're going forward, we need to bring everybody out with us, or do we drop off? I'm not one for playing offsides. I think we've got enough pace in our central defenders to go and beat anybody in the foot race back against goal. So I'm not one for offside. So it's just one for us to be mindful of. I'd rather one drop deeper and play that covering position than playing the offside. Again, if we just watch the two centre backs, oh, what's the coaching point here? Okay, yeah. Okay, so if we just watch this again, Oliver, the wrong side of the defender. So if you're the other side and then you step in that picture, the problem with being in front is they could hit it over the top, and we know against Old Wolves they're likely to play over the top, and therefore just something we need to be uber mindful of in those positions. And again, just look how wasteful we are on the ball in certain situations as well. So I think we do well to escape here, do we? No, lose the ball. Okay. Read. Next one. So this is really good pictures around stepping in, Oliver. So look at your body here. Love that. Stepping in, brilliant. You were the right side. You were looking at the defender here. So you can see him, you can see him, you can see him. Bang, step. Set the trap. Well done. Love that. Start behind and step in. Well done, buddy. And then again, that picture's there. You're setting the trap, and then you step in. That's exactly what we want to see. Some really good pictures there from Oliver, especially with in game understanding and taking some information on in game and being able to adjust accordingly. Okay, so I'm just going to let that run. So this is how they scored their goal in the last minute. Okay, so they're left-sided dominant here. So if we look at this picture, the ball comes through to 47, who was their danger left-footed player. Okay, comes to their 47. Now, in this picture here, Beardsy, you should be cutting in. I think that's Beardsy. Max, you should be coming deep and covering Jonesy here. Just look how that picture changes. All of a sudden, we should never be flat when they're coming and they're attacking us in the final third. We need this. We need this press. So who's stepping in? Who's providing the cover? So if I pause it at this point here, Max, just go with this player, because what's happening now? What's happening now is if this player beats Jonesy, this they're through. They're through on goal. So you have to provide that cover. Jones is having a tough game because a lot of their pressure is on the left side and playing right centre back. That's where he's getting. That's where we're getting a lot of the chances. So he pulls it back, and then because again, look how flat we are here. Who's providing the cover for Jonesy? Jonesy recovers well, but we still haven't recognised that cover. The whole bit around two centre backs marking one attacker is one goes, one drops, one goes, one drops, and it's constantly that push and pull. One goes, one drops. At the moment, it's Jonesy that's going all the time, and Max, you're not covering, you're not providing that cover. I know I've mentioned this 5 or 6 times already, but there is a reason, and you'll see that when they score, and certainly in the last 5 minutes of the game. So Foggy, love your body shape here. This is fantastic. So you're basically saying pass to this guy, pass to this guy, okay, pass to this guy. Your distances are great. Now this is where you read it a little bit too quick and you think that they're going to play, and absolutely they set the trap on you because the ball goes and travels here. So just think about how you can hold and then play. Okay, so at this point you step a little bit too quickly in, and then the ball goes behind. Thankfully, Jones is covering, and I think it goes out for a corner, which isn't the best scenario for us, but it's better than a goal against, right? Okay, so great example here of how we press high up the pitch. So high risk, high reward. We spoke about this in week one of our out of possession phase, about just getting high up the pitch and pressing. So Max applies the pressure, Harrison provides the cover, we capitalise on it, and now we're able to attack at pace, play the ball through, and then really nice fundamentals from our side, and that tactical switch of putting Jamie onto the right hand side pays off instantly. Um, we're going to just continue this clip because actually the second goal comes from the same clip, because we scored two within 2 minutes. So Max applying the pressure, we lock into one side, we lock in. They try and switch it over, which is impossible when the Spartans walls up. A little bit of good fortune there, and then we're able to attack again. And within two passes of the switch, we play it through, and Jamie scores. So again, just look at we spoke about this with our defenders, right? Now this defender's just looked at Jamie. Look at the distances there. Look how the game changes as quickly as that, because he's flat-footed here. So look how flat-footed he is. So the point here that we want from our defenders is that you're still side on, but you're side on looking at the attacking player, but using and then scanning in at where the ball is, instead of looking at the ball and checking in where the player is. That's the fun. That's the level differences. And look how Jamie just gets in front of him, just because he was flat-footed. Love this example of the Spartans wall. So something that we worked on. We worked on in week 2, so last Thursday in training, and just look at these three here. That to me is picture perfect around what we trained. We're basically saying you ain't coming past this, so you aren't getting into this zone of the pitch. We're going to dictate you into this zone here, and then one of our players is going to then go and apply the press. As it happens, we get two applying the press, which is fantastic, usually being the cover, and then they self-destruct and play it out of play, which for us is a win. And then we're able to go and attack. I mean, look at that throw from Husey. Okay, so here's when things start to go a bit sour for us. Okay, now just watch the back here. Okay. Oh, sorry, no, this is a positive. Here's our trap picture. So look at Foggy's body shape here, ready to pounce, bang, pounces, and that winger did not want that ball at his feet. Definitely didn't. So well done for stepping in and creating that picture. Really like how congested we make this zone as well in this picture. However, just something to be mindful of, are we too high? And as it happens, we are, and Max comes out with the ball. Now, one of the coaching points that we spoke about in the changing rooms in this game is about how fluid we wanted the team being in this day, on this day. So Max is driving out of defence. Who's recognising that? Okay, who's recognised that Max is now out of position? And if we look at this picture across the back, so we've got our left back, our CDM, our centre back, and our right back here. So Are we comfortable with that? Okay, we win the ball back. Now, just look at this defensive structure. Okay, look how the defensive structure in one ball just changes, and we're in danger now. Great covering from Mickey. And then Foggy, how long does it take you to react? How long, Cutler, does it take you to react in this? So watch you two here. Okay, so can you recover quicker? Cutler, CDM, can you recover quicker? And Husey and Harrison, can you recover quicker as well? So recoveries, and I know you win the ball back here, but the point that I'm making is if that ball comes across quicker, we are in the soup. Cutler, can you get in front of your man? Can you get in front of this man? And that's the danger then, snuffed out if we can make those moves. It's just one more poise point here. Okay, so a little bit of a watch out now because they score in the next couple of minutes. So if you look at this press, we're all on the same line here. So there is no balance of what we would call balance. So remember, nearest to the ball presses, someone covers that person from behind, and then we provide balance with a little bit more structure that sits behind the press and the cover. In this, we're all pressing, but we don't spot 47. Okay, we don't spot 47. Not quite sure what happens in that picture because Max is actually covering in that clip. Okay, when Jonesy puts the pressure on here, Max, can you back him up? So if we look at this picture, distances are good. Jonesy is now retreating, great body position, saying that body position, Jones is saying, get out wide, which is great. Okay, now we just need a little bit of cover here. So can you provide that cover, Max? Now, as it happens, they get a bit lucky here and they get a shot away and they should score. That's how close we were. So can you get across there, Max, and provide that cover in that situation? That this is their goal. Defenders ball watching. Okay, now what do I mean by ball watching? So if I pause it here, okay, if I pause it here, oh, there was a pause point there actually, sorry, let's just wait for that pause point to come. So Max, you look like you're going to press here whilst we've got, I think it's Cutler that's going to provide that press. You don't need to press in there because if you look at this picture, we've got our centre back, our left centre back, and our right centre back. We changed to a 3 at the back, 2 wing backs, 2 CDMs in this picture, in this phase of the game. So the first thing is we need to recognise this danger here quicker. So you go and press here. You don't need to. Let the midfield press into that zone. You provide that cover. Now we're in no man's land, okay? We're in no man's land, and look at that space they've got in this zone here. And we've got 3 players marking nobody on this side. These 3 are out of the game completely with 1 pass in. Now just look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players on this left-hand channel. If I was to draw those swimming lanes in, we've got 6 players into this zone, this little zone here, without recognising that actually that danger's coming from their left hand side. And guess what happens? They go and score. So 3-2. 1 minute to go. This clip's all about game management now. Okay, so 1 minute to go. Jamie goes to win the ball. Just look at this picture here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attackers, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players just looking at the ball. Okay, we're ball watching. Harrison's the deepest player at CDM. Our left back, our left centre back, our centre back, and our right centre back, and our CDMs here. We just look how you're all just zombieing towards the ball. Okay, just look how all of our players, and if you're on this clip, just look how you're all zombieing, walking towards the ball. One ball over the top, and they've got four players. We're lucky there. And Max, just check where your position is here, because we're still just wondering. Check what's around you. Jonesy, you should be shouting, bellowing at him about getting into position here. And that's never a goal kick. That's definitely a corner. Definitely a goal kick, not a corner. Okay, boys, so that is our clips for today. What I will say is, look, lots of improvements that can be made in that. Remember that our three phases that we've gone through around pressing or out of possession are pressing intensely to regain possession in 5 seconds. So great examples in there about how you do that, especially with our 2 goals. We really press intensely. And I really like that. Nearest to the ball presses, the other players, regardless of your position, covers and provides that balance. Okay. Week 2, we spoke about setting the trap, playing into the wide areas and us stepping in. We had some great examples of this, as well as some examples of the things that we need to do better at creating that Spartans wall and making sure that we're not letting anything go through the middle. And then this week, our focus is around predicting the next pass and blocking the passing channels. So it's going to be a combination of those, of the other bits around how we press, how we scan whilst we're pressing, how we're blocking passing channels, and how we step in to win that ball back. We know that Old Wolves are going to go long tomorrow, so we either stop it at source. But Max and Jonesy, you need to provide that cover, and who's going to be providing the header and who's going to be providing that cover in those situations. So, ciao for now.